Fast and easy before and after. This video is going to show you how to fix that bolster in your car. Okay, so here's a very common problem with automotive interiors. You get the bolster here where you're going in and out of the car, and what's happening is this gets a lot of wear, a lot of action, and it will wear out over the years. It'll crack to a certain degree and wear off the leather finish, causing the dermis to show, which is the suede portion of the leather. And of course now it's going to start to wear even more because now there's no finish to protect the leather. So what we're going to do with this video is we're just going to show you how to refinish this seat as quick as possible without a filler. If you notice all this cracking, it's just sort of topical abrasive wear of the finish. There's no really deep cracking or anything deeper than the thickness of your fingernail to fill in. So that means that the dyes are going to do a very nice job. Again, with this seat, we're only going to do this bolster here, and you're going to be, which is the worst part of the seat, and you're going to see the performance, what it looks like, and of course whatever area you do will look like new, and then you have to blend it into the rest of the seat. That's just the way things are done. Whatever area you do will look just that much newer. It's a brand new dye. It's not oxidized, it's not faded, it doesn't have any ingrained soil or anything like this. This all has fading, oxidization, ingrained soil, wear, soil, everything on here. So how are you supposed to get a dye product that's going to be an exact match? Everyone has a different scenario in their car. So what we're going to do is we're going to fix this seat with our medium-sized kit. Okay, so there's the kit right there. This is a 4-ounce bottle of the light gray C leather dye. Okay, this is enough for 2 front seats and a center console, and you can even do a couple door skins with it. If you have a very large vehicle, like a very large SUV, would probably recommend a large 8-ounce. But this 4-ounce bottle will do 2 front seats. If you just wanted to do just 1 seat, just a small kit will do. But we're going to be working with the medium-sized kit. So in the kit, let's take it all out. Let's work from the kit. You're going to get your leather cleaning and dusting cloth. That's how we're going to clean it. We're going to get our 4-ounce cleaner that comes in the kit. Okay, we're just going to pop it open, and we're going to get the sprayer and put that right in there. Okay, so now we got our cleaner. We'll put that over here. Or actually, we'll just put that over there. And then, of course, we have our sealer, which is the last step of the process. We're just going to put that over here. We'll get to that later. Okay. And of course, once we start with the dyes, which is right here, you want to shake it up. You want to get a very good color mix. You don't want to open it up. Put a couple pokes in there, like that. And then you want to put your lock top cap on. So now we're ready with the dye. Okay, so I'm going to put that over here. First thing we're going to do, and of course you get sandpaper in the kit as well if there's any areas that need to be sanded prior to applying the dyes. Here's our applicator sponges for the dyes and the sealer. We'll put those away for now. You get the rubber gloves, you get the packing slip so you know everything that comes in the kit. Of course, as soon as you open that up, you get all your instructions that show you exactly what to do. We're going to pretty much cover this right here, right now. So the first thing, what we're going to do is we're going to clean the leather. So again, you can put your gloves on, or if you don't want to use gloves, you don't really have to. But I mean, it's always a good idea to wear your gloves. Okay, so now we got our cloth. The cleaner, you want to spray the cleaner onto the cloth like that. Okay, if you had a lot of soil on here, so it was really impregnated with a lot of like heavy soil, you actually want to spray the cleaner directly on this. So what's happening is the cleaner will be soaking down into the soil, okay, loosening it up. And then when you get your cleaning and dusting cloth, you can just sort of wipe it down. Okay. Of course, depending on how soiled this is, you're going to have to repeat the process. Okay, So what we're getting off here, we're not getting off much. This seat has been cleaned many times over the years. What we're seeing is a little bit of blue, maybe from a little bit of a denim or jean dye or something like that. But generally, this seat has been cleaned many times. It's just about 21 years old. It's out of a 96 Mustang, and you know, it's mostly just old. It's got a lot of impregnated soil, which isn't really going to come clean with a cleaner, only if it's laying on the surface. If it's impregnated into the finish, then you sort of need a stripper. So in this case, you know, all you want to do is get it good and clean. That's all you want, is for it to be clean, okay? The next step, we're just going to hurry it along a little bit. We're just going to dry this up a little bit. Okay. We didn't put lots of cleaner into there, so it's not really soaked or anything. Okay. As you can see, it's starting to lighten up already. Okay. But the next step, what we always recommend is, if you know, a lot of times people have used Armor Alls, creams, conditioners, waxes, and everything on here. So the cleaner will clean up to a certain point. But after that, we would probably recommend some rubbing alcohol. So you can get 70% or 99% isopropyl or rubbing alcohol. You want to open it up, and you just want to apply it onto like a t-shirt wiper, just like that, a liberal amount. Okay, and just wipe down the area. Now, everyone's scenario is different. If you have a car that's very clean and you know, it isn't 20 years old or anything like that, you really don't have to apply the alcohol. The only time we would recommend an alcohol or a stripper is if you have any sort of oil or wax or grease in the leather from all these oil-based products that you've used on your car over the years, okay? Okay, so we've done that. We've taken a little bit off. You can see a little bit of soil there. Dry this area up. And of course, this is the quick version of the video, so if you wanted to, you could just let this air dry or something like that. We generally, you know, tell customers not to rush their repair work or anything like that, because you want to make sure this is totally dry, because when this is totally dry, the dyes will penetrate that much deeper into the worn leather. If this is soaking wet, the dyes will sort of soak in, meet the water, and sort of back off a little bit, so you're not going to get that perfect penetration that could be needed from the dyes. That's the only reason. Okay? But we didn't soak these skins, and I know how much cleaner I used, so this is going to be dry enough. Again, nothing is really crucial here. You know, as long as you work within reason, everything will be fine. It's not like if there's a little bit of moisture in there, everything's going to fail or anything like that. You can't really make mistakes like that with our products unless you're, you know, applying our dyes over a soaking wet, oily area or something like that, which usually isn't the case, but we've probably seen everything once or twice. So you're going to take a little bit of your sandpaper, and if you feel this area and if it feels a little bit rough, all you have to do is just lightly sand it like this. Okay. Yeah. And what you're doing here is you're just making it nice and smooth. That's all you're doing, just to the touch. Okay, see? You can take your rag and then just sort of dust it off a little bit, just like that. Okay. Now again, if you had really deep cracking in here, really deep cracking, we would recommend, you know, of course, using our filler kit. But we'll get to that later, because when you're dealing with this kind of wear, you want to put a couple coats of dye on here and then apply filler. And we have that on another video. It's a more in-depth video of a seat that has a lot of cracking and a lot of wear and everything. So this is going to be like a quicker video, much quicker, okay? So we're going to take the dye, we're going to shake it up. Okay, get the most accurate color. And you're going to open up the lock top cap, and you're just going to put it into that sponge just like this. Okay? And then you're just going to simply wipe it in. Okay? And what you want to do is you want to get good penetration of the dyes into those worn areas. That's all you're looking for. Okay? If it's really worn, Like this is just topical wear. If it's like a real mess or really worn, you can literally apply the dyes onto the surface and actually rub the dyes in so they get really good penetration. And you may want to do this because this seat bolster actually does take a lot of abuse. Oops. So if you want to put the dyes in a lot thicker, you can do it this way. This is probably equivalent to about 2 or 3 coats by the sponge, but the thing is the action with your hand massaging it in really pushes those dyes deep within the hide, which is crucial for the, you know, the longevity and the lasting of the repair. So now we're going to dry this area up. We always use a heat gun. We recommend you use a hair dryer because a hair dryer will not burn the leather. You have to be very careful with these heat guns because you can shrink the leather up, and once that happens, you're in trouble. Because sometimes with burns, you actually have to cut the burn out and then fill it in, and it's a whole bunch of work, so you don't really want to do that if it's not necessary, of course. Okay, so this is going to be dry enough now, okay? It's not going to come off or anything, but it's dry enough to apply another coat of dye. Okay, and the way you would do that is put some more dye on the sponge. If you want to put it on a little bit thicker, we ask that you just dab the dyes on just like this. Right into those corners, right down into the bottom. Hold your fingers like that, see? And I'm going to press my fingers right into the bottom of that seam. Maybe we might have to move the seat a little bit, or can you see? Okay, there we go. So we're just gonna, just like that. Just right into the bottom of the stitching there, get it all covered. Okay, a little more. Dab the dyes on. You know, and make it look kind of even and pretty. Again, this is just the second coat. You want to put maybe 2 or 3 or 4 coats on these bolsters because the more dye that you put on them, the longer, of course, it's going to last. The more protected it's going to be, and the longer it will, you know, the last. More wearability you're going to get out of this area. You know, some people that, you know, car dealers and this and that, they just want to make the car look good just to sell it or whatever. You might only need a coat or 2. You know, or even with your own car, if you just want to buy a small and just put on a coat or 2, it's going to look really nice, it's going to last, but of course it's not going to last as long as 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 coats. Okay, and of course our products, they're more of a permanent fixed solution. This isn't something that's going to last 6 months. Even 2 coats will probably last about 4 or 5 years. Once you step it up to 3 or 4 coats, it's going to last about 7 to 10, and if you put on 3 to 4 to 5 coats, it's going to last over 10 years. Okay, so we dab that on. Now we're going to dry this up. As you can see, it looks kind of shiny when it's wet, and when it starts to dry, you're going to have a little bit more of a matte shine. Okay. There we go. So let's put one more coat on there. Again, this is dry enough to lay on another coating of the dye, but of course not to sit on or anything like that. Even though it's not going to come off on you, you know, we would recommend it being totally dry and clear before you start to use it. So we're going to start to apply more dye just onto those really worn areas. This edge takes a lot of force and a lot of abuse. Just so just lay the dyes on a little bit thicker. Okay. In that area. And of course too, all this here, when you flood the seams or the stitching, it's going to dry perfectly. It's going to shrink right inside all those stitching marks and all that seam. It's going to dry up nice and tight, so it's not going to look odd or anything like that. Okay. So let's put one more coat on. You know, this is something that you want to do, like, you know, a lot of your cars out there, the whole seat looks fantastic, but it's only this one bolster that takes all that abuse. The way you would save this from happening is actually put your seat back, exit the car, get back in the car, pull the seat forward, and then drive. So if you do that, then this would never happen. Okay? This would never happen to you, because you're not going to have that amazing amount of force on that bolster anymore. Okay. Dry this up. Okay, so feels pretty good. Let that cool down just a couple minutes. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get a fresh sponge. We're going to shake up our sealer, open up the cap, put the sprayer inside the sealer. And we're going to spray the sealer onto the sponge evenly. Okay, we've done that, as you can see. And now we're just going to sort of just wipe it in. That's it. Okay. And if you wipe it on really, really sort of thick and glossy, it will dry glossy, but if you wipe it on and you sort of wipe down the shine while it's drying, then it'll be more of a matte shine, as you can see here. And it has a lot to do with the lighting. I mean, in the shop here, we're primarily leather refinishing specialists. We have very good light in here so we can see what we're doing. So a lot of times in our videos and everything, things look really shiny or whatever, but as you can see, we put it into a booth here and we're getting a little bit of a different shine, as you can see. All of our sealers and protectors come with a satin shine. Okay. So now we're going to take off our gloves, dry off our hands. We're going to feel that. Okay. No dyes coming off. Nothing like that's going to happen. This is a fresh finish, of course. It's dry to the touch, but we wouldn't recommend sitting on it till it's dried and cured overnight, or maybe leave it for 4 or 6 or 8 hours, depending on your environment. But as you can see here, maybe we can zoom in. Okay, can you see here? This looks like a brand new bolster now. There's no cracking in it or anything like that. Okay, see up here, if you look up there, you can see the cracking. So that would have been taken care of course, if we would have put some dye up here. Okay, this bolster was the worst area. Okay, as you can see, it looks fantastic. It feels like brand new leather again. It matches up pretty much perfectly, but again, this is a brand new coating of dye, so you're not going to see any fading, oxidization, or ingrained soil or anything like that. If you did happen to have some really deep cracks in here, apply the dyes first, let it dry. Then you'd want to take your leather repair filler kit you would take your palette knife that comes in the kit. Okay, it's a good quality nylon palette knife. Scoop some of the filler, apply it right onto the crack, scrape it off. Again, you can see that in another video where it's a more in-depth, longer video. This was just a quick video. Just to show you how you can make your seats look like new again. This is just the bolster, but of course if you want the whole seat to look like this bolster, all you have to do is apply the dyes to the whole seat, okay? For future care and maintenance of this finish, what we would recommend is our cleaning and protection kit. It's going to last you for years. That's a 22-ounce cleaner that you would basically spray onto your leather cleaning and dusting cloth, and you would just wipe down your leather every 3 to 4 weeks and let it dry. And then every season or every 8 to 12 months, you want to get your leather protector, spray it onto a sponge, and wipe down your whole seat with a brand new protective top coat that's going to make it that much easier to clean, because all the soil is going to lay upon the protective top coat. It's going to last longer, and of course your car seats or your leather is always going to look like new. So we highly recommend the leather cleaning and protection kit. For this and many more products, go to our website, leathertouchupdye.com. Well, we hope you enjoyed our video. If you did, please like, subscribe, or even share with your friends.